Welcome to the Huddle Sports Network, where we're breaking boundaries and redefining podcasting. Broadcasting live on 6 different platforms, we're bringing you the latest in sports like never before. Imagine tuning in to real-time discussions, expert analyses, and fan interactions all at your fingertips. Each platform offers a unique experience, whether you're on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch. We're not just sharing stories, we're creating a community of passionate sports enthusiasts. Join us as we dive deep into the evolution of podcasting, where every episode is a chance to engage, debate, and celebrate the world of sports. This is where your voice matters and the game never stops. Welcome to the Huddle Sports Network, where we're breaking boundaries and redefining podcasting. Broadcasting live on 6 different platforms, we're bringing you the latest in sports like never before, where sports passion meets podcasting brilliance. I'm Mike, the Bear fan, and alongside Bill, the Packer fan, and our buddy Ken Catalone, we're bringing you an incredible lineup of 38 diverse podcasters. Each one brings their unique flavor to the table, covering everything from game analysis to behind-the-scenes stories. Imagine diving deep into the minds of experts who live and breathe football, sharing insights that you won't find anywhere else.
Hey, good morning. Isaac in the comments right away. Belichick the Raiders. Good morning. It's Thursday. Some of us need some more heat because Ken sent the cold weather to us.
Well, enjoy it. I got more to share.
We're going to have to trade him. We need to trade him, Rob. We need to find him another team. I might become a snowbird and go to Cozumel or Belize, I guess. Good morning, Moonstar. So hey, real quick before we'll get into playoff talk today, but I saw something interesting as the Bears did 2 interviews yesterday, being Vrabel and the OC from Arizona, the guy who looks like Megamind if he had blue skin. So don't join Blue Man Group, dude.
What's up, Todd? Go Pack Go.
So yeah, California's got that despair. Let's hope everyone out there, because that stuff is still going on.
Morning, Mike.
So let's hope they get those fires contained. And it's Adam Carolla just went off last night on a rant, and he's right. It's gonna be fun to watch them. I want to see a reality show of these people trying to rebuild their homes with all the regulations and everything else they got to jump through there. He's like, it's gonna be 3 years before anyone even gets to touch a nail. Should be interesting. Anyways, back to football and head coach. The Bears, in the first round of their coaching interviews, are interviewing everyone virtual. So, like, Vrabel was a virtual interview yesterday. All first-round interviews are virtual. I don't know how I feel about that.
Well, I got to tell you, you're going to have to start to accept it with it being now 2025. That's what I think is going to be more prominent. Is you're going to have to get past that first round of interviews virtually before you see anybody in person.
Morning, Joe.
Yeah, I mean, because you hear they go to Hallis or they go to wherever and they have their interview, but I don't know if this is the first or not. But the Bears doing it all virtually in the first round. I mean, it is more like you said, Ken, more with the times. It's probably a cost savings, not just to the team, but for everyone. But that was just interesting. Yeah, Jets at 15 candidates. Look, I don't think that interviewing 10 or 15 guys is a bad thing. Because like if I'm interviewing Joe, and even though I think in the back of my head there's no shot, Joe really doesn't have a shot, but I'm going to interview because I'm interested in what he's been doing. I may glean something from that conversation that I can implement for my team without having to hire Joe. You're just gathering ideas as well. You're gathering information about the people that you want to coach, but you're also gathering ideas. I mean, it's intelligence gathering on all kinds of different fronts, right? Because some of these guys, you can't hire them all, and some will end up as coaches other places. Now you've got a little insight about them, what they like, what they, what their ideas are. So. But it's just interesting that they're doing it all virtually. There's a lot of interviews going on right now. It's funny though because I saw within being posted within 10 minutes of each other. Bears interested in Johnson. Johnson to Jacksonville heating up. Johnson intrigued about Jacksonville. Johnson, the favorite to land a NOLA job. And then finally, Johnson may not leave Detroit at all.
Nobody knows.
Sounds about right for this time of year.
Yeah, nobody knows, man. It's all.
No. The problem is everybody knows. We all know exactly this guy's going here. No. I know he's going here, and we're gonna hear all that fucking nonsense for it to just be. Well, none of yous were really right. It came out to this was the only opportunity left.
Well, dare I say some of it be clickbait?
Oh God, we're going back to the clickbait. It's off season.
Yeah, I mean, it's just funny though that within 10 minutes you get these stories all claiming and it is clickbait because that's how they make their money. You know, you click on, they get their advertising revenue, whatever. It's just funny, and then like now the articles with the Raiders and Belichick. Belichick may spurn North Carolina. All the NFL teams are now all of a sudden interested in Belichick. Like, dude, that dude ain't leaving North Carolina.
I don't buy that one, but I saw last night. I saw one from a source that I don't want to say I trust, but one that is usually right about Raiders things. And they said that the Raiders are actually very interested in Pete Carroll, and that the interest is mutual. That to me makes sense. Like,
Isaac,
Joe, you get you a Super Bowl coach.
That's what I'm
Isaac,
saying.
you don't call that.
I would love to have Pete Carroll as the coach.
Oh, there was one other piece of fun coaching news. So,
but it said that there was two guys. It said that the Raiders are actively like.
What's up, JP?
In fact, the reason that they let AP go was that these two guys, like they were looking at their availability, if they were going to be available, and also their level of interest. And once the Raiders checked both the boxes on that, they let AP go. That's why he didn't get fired on Black Monday.
Well, today's Carroll Day in Chicago. I had not heard Carroll to the Raiders before, but I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense.
They keep
but the other guy that's apparently the Raiders' favorite candidate is Liam Cohen from Tampa Bay, and him and Brady have quite the relationship. So
that makes sense to me there. That I mean, look at Brady dipping back into the well, so to speak, but Deion Sanders, now his coaching, NFL head coaching dreams, he said he will not leave Colorado unless he gets to coach both his kids. Think about that for a second. He wants them both on the same team, and then he'll come coach them.
Are you insane? Oh my God, he needs.
Wait, are we asking if Prime is insane? Yes.
Yeah.
What a goddamn Karen. That is a major Karen. Oh my God.
I mean, now look at his one son's probably gonna be the first quarterback. Could be the first quarterback off the board, and his other son could be he's a corner, right? Could be one of the first corners off the board. So it's they could both be first round picks. I mean, it's theoretically not impossible. It could happen, but could you imagine? Let's say the Titans get both of them. Deion might want to coach in Tennessee next year. I mean, I saw that though, and I did chuckle. And I had kind of the same reaction where I'm like, dude, come on. But, dude, this is Prime we're talking about. This is the guy who played an NFL game and a Major League Baseball game and an MLB playoff game and an NFL game in the same day. He didn't do it well. He kind of was there in the football game, but I don't put anything past Deion. So I thought that was fun.
Fuck
yeah, the coaching carousel is gonna heat up. We're gonna every day there's gonna be look now Glenn's now a favorite for the Saints job. It was Johnson 20 minutes ago. Kingsbury may not take a head coaching job. I'm sure then that means in about 5 minutes, there'll be a bunch of articles about Kingsbury, who's a favorite to be coaching somewhere. It's just funny.
Well, I mean, I see the wisdom behind a virtual first interview. I mean, just think about this. You could just go and like, hey, what's your number? Give me your number. I'll go back and talk to people. We'll figure out if we can meet. What's your philosophy? What
Yeah,
you could get some of that there, and then
they can accomplish everything they need to for a first interview. I think virtually. It's not that they have to be
I don't see. I think that's a good way to get business done. I mean, it doesn't. You're like you said, you want to get it done as soon as possible. So if this saves you handing every person that comes through, you want to save that and give the royal treatment to the guy. Maybe the one or two candidates you got it narrowed down to where you want to call them in and bring them in because you're not going to bring every candidate in and wine and dine them and limo them around and fuck that.
And now you avoid you see you high five the guy exiting the building as you're entering the building for yours, right? They're not both in town at the same time. Everyone's just at wherever they're at, and they hop on the computer and they talk for a couple hours and. Literally that one can end. 2 seconds later, the next one can begin, and there's no waiting in the hall to meet Mr. Bowles or any of that stuff. I get it; it makes sense to do it that way. It kind of really does.
I mean, it sounds Broski like they're just doing virtual. So I mean, if that's all he's doing, I mean, if it's just virtual, he's not bringing them in. It's no harm, no foul to talk to someone on a camera, man. Sit in front of a computer screen and interview people. That's. To me, it saves time. You at least get it. You can weed out all the assholes you don't even want to bring in. You know what I'm saying? Oh no.
I mean, and with the virtual, it's like no one's wasting time. No one's wasting time traveling and all the other stuff that goes along with it.
We do everything else, right? Swipe right, swipe left.
Right. I mean, I don't mind like Broski, I don't care that they're hiring a bunch, that he's looking at one or two college coaches and a bunch of OCs and DCs and picking these people's football brains. And because, like I said, I look at it as twofold. One, you're looking for the guy who's going to be your head coach and meets the check boxes that you have.
Coaching Tinder.
And the other thing is, coaching Tinder. That's a good way of putting it.
That's the way to put it, Isaac.
Yeah. And then the other thing, though, and like I said, the other thing that goes on with these interviews is they're gleaning information about, these guys, what their proclivities are. So if they are head coaches otherwise, but they're also getting ideas like you may not like I may be interviewing Joe for my head coaching position. And I'm thinking, well, I like Joe. He's a good guy, but he's not the guy, but he's got a really good idea about X.
Hey, I don't know if you guys know how accurate that is. Like the coaching Tinder, because just like Ken was just saying, like, you're taking some of these guys out, knowing that I don't really know if this is a guy, but you're giving them the shot, like, whatever. But the same way, coaches are just using them for the free dinner too. Like, it's like there are coaches that are like, hey, I know I'm not going to sign here, but I'm going to use this place for leverage to get a higher contract where I really want. So it's like,
but honestly, if you do a virtual, you can record it. You can send it up. Look, man, this is why I like this guy. McCaskey can look down and see all the interviews himself. I think that's why. Well, Pat, look, this is what I hit. Look, what do you think?
It's like putting players on tape, right? Because I can go back, I didn't hire Joe, but he had a really good idea how we could fix the linebacking core or whatever. And you can really show people, hey, here's a little nugget I can use.
You get a coaching job, and
I didn't hire Joe,
right, John?
but he had a really good idea about something. Or I didn't hire Dorn because 99.9% of his takes are about as good as the playoff win the Miami Dolphins are going to get this weekend. But he did have a good take on X, and I can take that little nugget now and implement it. And I don't know if you're wasting time because what are they going to? What's he doing, Broski? I mean, if he's not doing the interview, what should he be doing? I don't think you're wasting time when you're gleaning information and gaining insights and looking for a head coach. You're wasting time if you're not doing that. I think it's the inverse. If you're not interviewing people and find out information, that's when you're wasting time. taking a 2-hour interview with the OC of the Arizona Cardinals, who probably isn't going to get the job, is not necessarily wasting time.
See, what I think it is that Broski more wants is for you guys to target a specific guy,
Oh, yeah.
go all in on him, and have him as the coach tomorrow. That way you can get the ball rolling type of thing.
Yeah, and I get that too, but that's just not reality, right? Like, we can't go all in on Ben Johnson.
Well,
I don't think Broski does, but some Bears fans do. You can't go all in on Ben Johnson and put all the eggs in the basket, and then what Ben Johnson decides, I'm not leaving Detroit, or decides to go elsewhere.
Broski is proof you can't make every fan happy.
No,
I mean, I think they're doing their due diligence by checking and talking to every coach. You may find someone that like, holy shit, this guy said something I never, they see something I didn't see. You might run into an innovative. I mean, but I do understand what he's saying. You guys got a plan. Is there a focus? Is there a direction you want to go?
Well, I think there is. The Moonstar, he says something that I kind of alluded to yesterday, is like, look, at some of these guys are looking, they sought permission. Like, they didn't have to seek permission for the offensive coordinator from the Arizona Cardinals, who was eliminated from the playoffs, but they did, right? Which means that they were talking to him for head coaching and an OC position, either or. So I think some of it is looking at pairing people up and other. There's a lot to it. There is a plan. And some of these, honestly, are smokescreens, right? Because look, if I tell Broski, you're my man, you're going to be the guy I want, and you're the only guy I'm going all in on, well, now he's got all the leverage in the world, i.e. Jordan Love, the Goody last year. But if Broski's got some competition because I brought Joe and Ken in, now he doesn't have all the leverage. So, well, you know what? I mean, Ken's just as good coach as Broski. So, Broski, I don't know if I'm going to give you $50 million, man. I can get the same thing out of bearded Packer fan there and be just good.
Well, shit, I'll even give you a $10 million discount. Give me 40 and I'll come in.
Each coaching job has something different to offer. I mean, the thing about the Bears is, though, you already got a GM, you already got a quarterback. The coach, you're getting your coach after the fact. The coach has no say on the quarterback, so you have to get a coach that wants Caleb.
Yep. Well, I think Caleb is part of the draw, though. That's the thing. Caleb is.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying. Look, it goes both ways, though. Some guys,
because it's like Drake May is part of the draw. The situation is the draw, right? Probably like if you look at Chicago and you look at New England, their draw is why Drake May and Caleb are part of it. They have young franchise quarterback. Both have a ton of money in free agency, and both have good draft capital, right? That's what makes those two teams a draw versus New Orleans, which doesn't have a young quarterback, that's only a year in the league. They've got Carr's been around forever. They've got no money and a ton of aging players. So, I mean, they're the inverse of Chicago and New England. So, I mean, I think, though, like, Rob, your argument is really a great argument, especially if you're looking at a team like Jacksonville. That's a good example. Yeah, they've got a pretty good young quarterback that you don't have a say in. You're not really have a draft pick to replace him. He may or may not be a bust that's still unsure. They do have some good young talent, but they don't have a ton of money, and their draft picks are kind of meh. Like, they're like that tweener, right, in between. Situation, you just go like New England, Chicago, great situation, tons of money, good draft capital, good young quarterback you can do something with. The inverse would be the Raiders and Nola, a lot of weird weight, not a lot of great draft capital, not a lot of money to spend.
Actually, take the Raiders out of that. The Raiders have 10 draft picks. They have 110 million in cap space. They just have no quarterback.
They have 110.
They have 110.
All right, so they're kind of tweener then. So they're in that mid tweener then. So I'll change it. They're in that mid tweener piece, like great pieces, but you need a quarterback. And are you get that quarterback in the draft, or are you still doing the recycle guy?
Well, they
hoping that Justin Fields is going to turn it around if you sign him. I'm not saying that's what they're going to do, but I'm saying that's the situation, right? They're not going to be drafting their quarterback in the first round this year. That's
Are you trading up, Joe, now? Since you're from 6, are you trading up?
I don't think anybody's willing to trade up from.
Nope.
And honestly, like I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up hope on. There's a couple of things that I would rather do than trade up for Sanders and Ward. I'm
You want
waiting
Carter?
to see if Drew Aller from Penn State declares. Because if he does, then if I were the Raiders, I would pursue him in the second round. And I want to see if New Orleans cuts Carr. Because if they cut Carr, I would actually be willing. I would not just be willing, but I think the Raiders should bring
Reunion.
Carr back as a bridge
Yeah.
on a cheap contract for 2 years and let the rookie sit behind him. Because can you imagine Carr throwing to Brock Bowers instead of AOC? Like Carr throwing to Jacoby Myers, and we still have our first round pick that we could use on the what is his name, Tedwin McMillan, the receiver, the best receiver in the
You want
draft.
to run it back?
I do,
Yeah,
but I don't know if I want to spend the number 6 pick on Genty, because here's my thinking, Rob, is that we definitely need a number 1 receiver and we definitely need a running back, right? But if we take Genty in the first round, yeah, he's an elite running back, but now we're picking in the third round, we're picking dog shit at receiver, right? Or not dog shit, but we're picking number 2 guys, not number 1 guys. Whereas
two of the best.
Whereas if we take the receiver in the first round, we can still get a starting quality, a number 1 running back in the third round. That's my thinking.
I mean, if this last year proved anything, the stud running back, rookie running back, and the studliest of the receivers didn't even get picked in the first round.
Well, I'm going to say this: Jamar Gibbs. He's the last highest pick running back that I've seen, and he's still paying dividends for the line.
Well, and running back, yeah, Gibbs and then Bijan are both.
Yeah, even
good.
Bijan. Yeah, Bijan was in that draft too.
But
He was picked high. Yeah.
Look at the kid down in Tampa. The year he's had. Look at some of these young receivers that weren't the big 3 last year had great years. I mean, I think you can get a wide receiver and even a good running back at the end of the first round or in the second round or even the third round. Brandon Marshall.
Hey, bear down, Mike. You're right. You're right. I would like to have T. Higgins in Vegas too.
Yeah.
I would take that.
No, you wouldn't, Joe. He'd cause too much problems for you over there in Vegas.
He wants Green Bay.
He's the
type of guy that could
much
only
better
make
served
it.
in Green Bay, right?
Yeah. He needs to be in a town that's only focused on football. Otherwise, everything's just going to come back.
Joe, what he's really saying is that he needs to be in a town with less than 100,000 people so he can't get in trouble.
Look, and location is also another issue for some coaches. Because, I mean, look, Joe's in Sin City. I mean, if you're totally religious, you're not going there.
Jacksonville, you're virtually tax-free. No state income tax.
See, look, I mean, there's draws to certain states that would, for some reason, if you got family, I mean, you got to imagine you moving your whole family. I mean,
yeah, but you know what though? These dudes don't care when they're making $10 million a year to go.
Yeah, live in Chicago for 1 year, and then they'll talk to me because it's fucking cold as fuck.
So yeah, I would do it. I mean,
yeah, Chicago's cool, but I don't know about Jacksonville. Jacksonville's pretty rough.
Well, you don't live in Duval County. You live outside, like in Doctors Inlet.
Yeah, I was going to say Jacksonville. Jacksonville is pretty tough.
Hurricane Alley.
You go live in
not just the hurricanes. It's the hurricane of crime as well.
You go live in St. John's, the St. John's area there across the bridge. I mean, there are some nice areas they can live, but yeah, Jacksonville's not exactly a happening place. Sorry, Duval, you're not. I mean, yeah, there's not much there. The zoo there is a joke, but I mean, look at the tax situation's good. They don't get hit by anything bigger than a Cat 1 usually, which is basically just go grab a beer and party. But I mean, the draws though, when you look at the teams though, that's going to, some of the situations are going to draw. The GMs, I don't know how much impact working for a certain GM has for some of these guys. I think for some it really doesn't. For some it does. But look, at the end of the day, I mean, this is next week is going to be a lot of virtual interviews, and then we get to round 2s, and that's when it's going to get interesting. Right now, it's just a bunch of information gathering, which is kind of smart by these GMs to do for all these teams, and interview as many people as they can, and put as much ammo in the tool bag, and then narrow it down and have the big discussions. But for the teams that aren't doing that, they're playing this weekend, and we got a few games, fellas. So let's get into a few. We'll start right off with what should be the interesting matchup Saturday at 3:30 p.m. I think that's Central Time. Chargers Texans in Houston. Your division rival is going to Houston. What do you think?
I'm leaning Chargers just because I don't know what happened. The bottom completely fell out of the Texans team. Like
Robinson's back too, right?
they're not playing with any fire, man. That's the thing is like they're just not playing like they're motivated. And the Chargers are playing good football, dude. Like, I think the Chargers are gonna win.
What do you think, Rob?
Yeah, I got the Chargers too. I mean, their defense is playing well. Dobbins is back, their running back that was leading them in the beginning. Or they had to rely. They have better wide receivers than I thought. I'll say that. That was very surprising to see. What's his name? What's that kid's name? Can't think of his name at the moment. Their new wide receiver, but I mean, I think they got it. I think Chargers smoke them easy.
What do you think, Ken? Well, he said easy smoke while they're on fire.
Yeah. Houston, I do not trust in any way, shape, or form.
Mm-hmm.
They've been so up and down this year, disappeared for second halves of games multiple times. And then you got a Harbaugh on the other side, so I'm going Chargers the whole way.
McConkey, that's the kid's name. Lad McConkey. Yeah.
Yeah, he's dope.
Yeah, he's dope, man.
He's
That's their
dope.
wide receiver. I couldn't think of his name. Lad McConkey.
You know who he reminds me of? He's like a better Hunter Renfro.
Yes, bro. Yeah.
The way we're talking about
Good. Yeah, Lad McConkey. There you go. Yeah. I couldn't think of his name, bro. I was like, it was.
The way we're talking about this playoffs game is interesting because at the end of the year, everyone had these guys penciled in to be making a Super Bowl run. And that should just tell you, like, how everything looked at the beginning of the season, how things changed. Stroud was this great, quarterback who was going to do these great things. He had a sophomore slump, and it was something I got put in the memory bank for next year with Caleb. And then that team just didn't show up. Like, look at that Lions game. I mean, they were up 17 points at the half, and they never scored. They didn't score a point the rest of the game. The Lions come back. I mean, they scored basically 18, 19 points, whatever it was they scored in the second half to win that game. Oh, our grit. It's like, dude, but the Texans did nothing in the second half. Like, they just disappeared in the second half.
And they squandered a 5-interception game from Goff.
Yeah, I mean, so the Texans, I mean, even if I go back to week 2, the only reason they beat the Bears is because they had a field goal kicker who could put it in from 55 plus and had to do so 3 times. Any other field goal kicker that can't do that, they punt those 3 times, probably lose to the Bears in week 2. So, I mean, when you look at that's not saying that the Bears are bad. That's just saying that they have a problem getting touchdowns. They had a problem this year.
Right, Isaac.
Get to the red zone, putting balls in the end zone, and then showing up in second half. I think the Chargers should win this game. I'm not going to be like Rob and say it's going to be easy, but I think they're going to win this game. The score will look more comfortable than what the reality is. So the Chargers, being from LA, are going to be on fire and smoke them out.
Well, it's more that I think the Texans are a collapsing team. So
yeah, and the Texans don't have their offensive line has not been able to protect Stroud very well this year, and the Chargers have the number 1 defense in the NFL right now.
Yeah, they got a good.
I think that's going to be the tail of the tape right there.
Ken's the only one who got all the puns, so kudos to Ken as we move on to the next game. We'll get a chance for some more Ken here for Monday night. This next game is going to be kind of interesting. I think a coaching job could possibly, I'm not saying it is, but could possibly be on the line. As the Steelers go to Baltimore to play the Ravens. The Ravens are 9.5 points on this game, Rob. Do the Steelers have a chance?
I mean, these guys are like, they just played each other. So, yeah, I mean, the sting is still in the air, bro. I mean, do the Steelers have a chance? If this time it's in Baltimore, I mean, bro, it's the playoffs. Lamar is a bust in the playoffs, so anything's possible. I mean, I'm sorry, man. Yeah. Do the Pittsburgh have a chance? Yes, 9.5 point favorites. I would probably still take Baltimore to win, but if I was betting, I would take the points and bet Pittsburgh doesn't lose by 9.5. There's no way.
Joe, what do you think about this game?
I don't expect it to look like the last game. I think, Pittsburgh's defense is going to come to play. We have the Lamar Jackson playoff woes. I think that Baltimore gets it done, but I don't think they cover for sure. I think
that's too big a spread.
I think the Steelers play them a lot closer, and they win by maybe a touchdown, maybe a field goal, somewhere in that 3 to 7 range.
Facts, broski. I agree with you.
Bear Down Mike is trying to sleep on the couch today by saying the Ravens are going to steamroll the Steelers, and then he goes on to say, I'm saying this to piss off my wife. Mike, I hope you have some nice blankets and a pillow on your couch.
Man. You're on the couch, bro. And if it does happen, you're really on the couch.
So
let the dog snuggle up for warmth.
Yeah, there you go. So, Ken, what do you think about this? Look at Lamar got to the AFC Championship game, so I don't know about the Lamar playoff thing anymore. But what do you think about this game?
I think the Steelers do have a chance, a snowball's chance in hell, because I think that Baltimore is going to be winning this one by double digits.
A-Dub says
So
Mike.
you think they cover, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, that's 9.5.
A-Dub says Mike
Mhm.
A-Dub says Mike Tomlin said he's open to starting Justin Fields in the playoffs. I didn't even know that was a consideration.
Okay, if he starts Justin Fields, I change my score prediction to by 17 points they'll win by.
I don't.
He doubled it.
Look, honestly, I see the Ravens winning this game because the Steelers are in the midst of an epic end of season collapse, losing 5 straight, 4 or 5 straight, whatever it is. They have not won a playoff game in 8 years. And I think when the Ravens beat them, there's going to be serious discussion in Pittsburgh about their head coach. And I get it. Just signed an extension last year. He's had a winning season all 15 years. That's great, fine and dandy. But if you're not getting done in the playoffs, look at to us who haven't been in the playoffs every year for 15 years, going, you're freaking stupid to fire him. But they're like, we go to the playoffs every year and then we just go home. So what's the point of you getting us to the playoffs if you can't take us any further? I think Tomlin, if they lose this game, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but there's a possibility he could be hitting the pavement looking for a job come next Monday.
I think that would be dumb, but I agree with you. I think there's a possibility. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm saying I think that it would be dumb though for the Steelers to get rid of him, because if you look at the whole situation, the Steelers, they haven't won a playoff game in 8 years, but that goes right back to about the time that Big Ben started to decline, and they haven't had a quarterback since. They still haven't addressed their quarterback situation. I think Tomlin deserves a chance to actually go out and get a quarterback.
It's going to be an Andy Reid in Philadelphia type of thing.
Yeah.
He's going to end up leaving Pittsburgh, and he's going to go somewhere else and win a Super Bowl. And then they're going to say, oh, wow, holy shit, we really messed up here.
Yeah. Look,
Mike Tomlin, come on down.
It's one of those
To
things.
the Las Vegas Raiders.
I would say they addressed the quarterback.
You look good in black and silver, right?
I would say they addressed the quarterback situation when they brought in Russ and Field. They pulled in 2 guys who were starters, and one's a Super Bowl champ. So you would have to say they addressed it pretty well without having the draft pick to address it. And they did have a first-round quarterback they let go, right? And Pickens. So Tomlin might be gone, man. I'm just saying. I don't know.
Could none of you guys see Tomlin as the Raiders coach? Doesn't he seem like he kind of fits the Raiders persona?
He'd fit Oakland. He'd fit Chicago. In fact, he would even probably get along good in New Orleans. I don't see him in Jacksonville, though. No, that's the one place I don't see him is Jacksonville. I just don't see him. But I could even see him in NOLA.
Joe, you could sell him.
I could see him being a Raiders coach, dude.
Totally sell him on Vegas, man. It's warm all the time there.
Dude, no, it's not.
All the time. There's
all
all the Tupperware and plastic you could ever dream of.
Yeah. All right, here's a game that could be interesting. I know some people have this pegged as the game. The line is 8.5. It's the Denver Broncos going to the Buffalo Bills. Ken, what do you got?
We all know I love Sean Payton, and I've been picking him and the Broncos for a lot of it. But there is no way in hell I am picking against Buffalo in this game. I think Buffalo is going to be the AFC representative of the Super Bowl.
For all those in the Buffalo area, please take Ken's house off the "we are going to burn it if they lose" list. He's picking your team. Ken's house. Thank you. That's been your public service announcement. Joe, what do you think about Bills Broncos?
I'm agreeing with Ken. I don't think there's any way Denver goes into Buffalo and wins that game.
Rob?
Yeah, but I think Denver's defense can slow down the Bills. I think this is going to be a better battle. I mean, I think in the end, the Josh Allen and the Bills are too much, but I think it's going to be closer than you guys. I think. What's the line?
Well, I didn't say it was going to be an ass whooping. I just said I don't see him winning.
No, I know, but what's
8.5? 8.5.
Wow.
Oh, I don't think they cover.
I don't even think they cover that. Holy shit! I would see
I think
here
they
again.
win, but don't cover.
Yeah, they don't. They win, but don't cover. I agree with that. Yeah,
I don't think Buffalo has a snowball's chance in Buffalo of winning this game. I mean, they're not going to slow Allen down that much. I don't think they're going to slow
so
them
then you
down.
mean you don't think Denver's going to lose?
at all.
Yeah, you had it backwards, bro.
Uh-huh.
Well, there's a snowball's chance in Buffalo because there'll probably be snow in there, and they won't even be able to make the snowball. They're going to get hit so hard.
Honestly, I think it's going to come down to Bo Nix making a rookie mistake in the playoffs, and you know.
And it's the Buffalo area. We don't do snowballs around here. They're ice balls.
Yeah, exactly.
Packed with batteries. Packed with batteries.
Like look at
With batteries.
they have been coached extremely well in Denver. That's been their MVP has been Sean Payton coaching. I honestly, I mean, yeah, Surtain's good, but after that, you know, Buffalo is going to be okay. I see Buffalo winning this game.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't see it being that close. We'll save that game to second to last. This next game, which is the Sunday night game on NBC, 7 p.m. start. Commanders at Bucks, and that's going to be an interesting game, right? Because Baker's they got back on track last week. Washington has had no one thought Washington would be a playoff team at the beginning of the year. It was a patchwork team with a bunch of one-year contracts. Got older guys that were coming from other teams that weren't like the guys that, Mike has to go get them. It was a bunch of solid guys, but not guys you were drooling over for your team to get. And when Washington signed them, people were like, yeah, okay, I think Washington signed another, decent guy. But all these decent guys that they signed together became a very good defensive squad, and their offense their offensive line has done the job. I think Kingsbury's made good play calls. He's done a great job as an OC there with a rookie quarterback and protecting that quarterback with good play calls and using Scary Terry and Zach Ertz. They got a good running game going there. This should be a good game. It's in Tampa. The line is basically 3, so it's that home team 3. So they're Vegas is saying this game is pretty much dead even. Rob, what do you got for this Buccaneers Commanders? Who do you think wins this thing?
This is a tough one, man. I mean, I think this is going to be a close game.
Mm-hmm.
Here's another. Experienced quarterback versus a rookie quarterback versus a new team. Kind of. I mean, they're all resurging. I mean, Washington, no matter how it goes for them, they had a good year. You know what I mean? They could say this is a successful year. They made the playoffs. I mean, it'd be nice. I mean, you cap it off with at least a first round win. It'd be it's a big feather in your cap. I think Baker and the boys are too much. I think they edge them out.
What do you think, Ken?
I love Baker Mayfield and all. He's got one hell of a mentality that I love to see in a quarterback. But I'm going to go with the old one-eyed turtlenecks in this one.
Oh, he's saying HETR, motherfucker. What do you think, Joe?
Man, I really like. I'll be happy with either one winning because I really like Baker and I really like Jaden Daniels, but I think the Bucks just have too many offensive weapons. I think Jaden Daniels will keep it close, but I think the Bucks are going to win.
Yeah, in the comments, it's Bucks, 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 Bucks. Look at Commanders. Thank you for your hospitality when we were in DC for the game. You guys are phenomenal. Can't say
Thanks
enough.
for the Hail Mary.
Can't say enough good things about your hospitality and how you treated Bears fans. At tailgate, during the game, post game. But I think this is where it ends. I mean, great season, but I think this is where it ends. There'll be no HTTR for me today. Baker has just got that X factor too. Like Baker himself can just take a game over, and Jaden, we don't have that yet with him, but Baker we do. Baker can take this game over, and his receiving core. I mean, Scary Terry's nice. Don't get me wrong, but dude, I think Otten is back as well, and that kid has been ridiculous for Tampa all year. So
then they got Bucky Irving too.
Yeah,
they just
having a great
and
year.
they run their offense through Godwin instead of through Evans, right? So Evans is he's not the primary target, which I think is good because it opens him up more. I think they just have too many weapons, man.
You gotta go watch that Amazon Prime thing they did. They only had the one episode. I love when they say, "Oh, the season of this show of players going undercover," but the only one they have is Baker. I can't Gus, whatever his name was, the legend of Gus. Oh my God, it's hilarious. Baker though, I mean, it's just, dude, Baker's. It makes you wonder what Cleveland would have had if they had not screwed Baker Mayfield over. Put it that way. I mean,
they wouldn't be the Cleveland Browns if they didn't.
Yeah, exactly. That should be a great game. I mean, you want to talk about if there's going to be an upset, though. I will say this: if there's going to be an upset this weekend, I think that this could be one of them, or the upset. If the Commanders win, I think they'll say it's an upset. Speaking of Jordan Love in the comments, we'll go to that game next. We got two division games this week, so we'll go to the Packers first because Packer fans, I kind of already know what they're going to say. The Green Bay Packers, who just lost to the Chicago Bears, go to Philadelphia to play
for the first time in 6 years.
Hey, it doesn't matter. You lost. They go to play the Eagles, their complete rematch of Week 1. That was in Brazil in a ton of rain on a very wet field. Not a ton of rain, but a very wet field where no one seemed to have the right cleats. I don't think we're gonna have that problem in Philly this time. Let me go to the Packer fans first because their takes might surprise some people. So I'll go to Rob first. What do you think about this game? The line, by the way, is 4.5 for the Eagles.
Yeah, I mean, it's 4.5. Yeah, I mean, I want to say we steamroll them, John. I mean, I like your enthusiasm, but I mean, it just depends on which team shows up. I don't know, man. The way they play, it's hard to say. They finished the last two games with losses. I mean, normally LaFleur's got us on a winning, moving in with momentum. I mean, I don't feel it, so it's hard for me to pick the Packers, man. It really is. I'm a Packer fan, and I love my team, and I want them to win, but it's tough, bro. I can't pick them. I think we lose by a point. I think it's close again. I think we lose by anywhere from 1 to 3 points.
Good morning, Cam. Good to see you. What do you think there?
What's up, Cam?
All right. Well, since Rob took the wind out of the Packer fan sails, here I am. Gonna inflate them sails just a little bit. We're gonna have Saquon versus Josh Jacobs running the ball. They're both gonna play relatively similar. The game's gonna come down to Hurts throwing an interception to McKinney, and off of that interception, Jordan Love gets a touchdown to Romeo Doubs. Green Bay edges out the Eagles by 4 points.
So, Joe, now that Ken has pumped you up full of hopium, what do you think of this game?
Man, it's a tough one because I want to say the Eagles based off of like what Rob was saying, the Packers, they're not coming in with a lot of momentum, and Jordan Love got hurt last week, and so I wonder how he's going to play. But I just kind of feel like the Eagles, Hurts was hurt too, and he's just coming back. So it's like, I think both the quarterbacks are banged up, and I wonder if Jordan Love is gonna show that he's that guy. Like, you know what I mean? We know he's the guy for the Packers, but I mean that guy. Like,
Yeah.
Is he gonna take like that step into A-Rod territory? And I think he can. I think a lot of it's going to depend on how Josh Jacobs plays. They're going to need that run game to stay with him, but I'm going to pick the Packers for the upset, dude.
There you go. Go Pack,
I
go,
don't trust
Joe.
the Eagles. I think there's still some stuff going on in that locker room, and I don't know, like, the one thing the Packers do have is a solid locker room. Like, everybody's together, Losing Watson was a big deal for them, but I'm going to go Packers.
And Mike, we don't ever sit with bears on a couch. Shut up.
Interesting. Well, you might be after this game.
No, we'll just sit on the adjacent couch.
Interesting thing with that, Hurts has not cleared the play.
We bring our own.
Hurts is cleared to start practicing, but he's not yet cleared to play. Which is it might be a battle of the backups. Like, I don't, they're downplaying the Love injury. He hit his elbow twice in one play, so maybe it just was the double stinger, if you will. But honestly, if I had to go Saquon versus Josh, I'm taking Saquon because Philly just does a much better job at running the ball in the second half, and that's when Saquon tends to take games over, kind of like King Henry's doing in Baltimore. Both have some talent on their teams, but that go back to what Rob said. Like, and dude, Rob's a diehard, man. He's like, look, we got no momentum, and he's right. They have zero momentum coming into this, and they have more questions than they have good feelings. Yeah, it's a week one rematch, and week one was really close, and I think this one was close too. I don't think either team is like at that in the right spot where they need to be. They're both a little off. I think Green Bay is a little more off than Philly is at this point. And losing Watson, they don't really have a good answer for that. And Dobbs, he was out last week. How healthy is he going to be? I mean, that's a problem when you get to this point of the year. The names that you think, oh, that's my dependable receiver, but he just missed a little bit of time with an injury. Is he going to be okay when he comes back? Are we rushing him back? Is he rushing himself back, saying he's 100% when he's really 70? That's what gets interesting at this point of year. Could they pull the upset? Of course, they could always pull the upset. But I'm gonna go with Rob on this one. I'm gonna take the Eagles to hold home serve and win a close game, and it's gonna be a good one. The weather is not a factor for either of these teams. I think the home field advantage is negligible for the Eagles, but I got the Eagles winning this game, but it's gonna be close.
Nothing fixes that momentum better than beating the second place team.
I mean, look, if the Packers win this game, then that's a massive momentum shift for the rest of the playoffs.
Yes, it does. It says they're ready, but I ain't seen it yet.
I agree. And Jordan Love has not, to Joe's point, Jordan Love has not been the Jordan Love he was last season, where he's like being that guy, like Joe was saying. And maybe this could be a coming out party for him, and he shows it. I mean, it could always happen. But based off of what we've seen this season to date, I don't think he does that this year.
I mean,
go ahead.
If you look at Love, look, he finished last year with 9 wins. This year he's got 11. Okay, so it's 2 wins more. But he also had a playoff win, so he had 10 total wins last year.
I mean, but his numbers for him,
to me, he didn't take that step up. I mean, to me, it's pretty much an even season. I didn't see him go. I didn't see Jordan Love raise up any this year.
The defense carried you. The defense carried you more.
Yes.
Than we thought they were going to this year.
The defense definitely was a surprise help this year.
So we got a little bit of time left. We got to get to the last game.
All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we got a little time left. We got to get to the last game because this one's going to be an interesting one as well. The stadium is not on fire, so they do have a place to play. The Vikings at the Rams in LA, which just even the whole situation going on in LA with the fires right now make it a little more interesting. Hopefully, it's all done by Monday. Hopefully the fires die out today. But we got Vikings at the Rams Monday Night Football. The line is the Vikings by 1.5. Interesting game. Does the Ginger Jesus get a win over Matt Stafford, Joe?
Yes, I as much as I wanted to say the Vikings would be one and done, I think that ass whooping that Detroit put on them last week is going to have them coming in pissed off, dude. And I think, they have something to prove at this point. And I feel like the Rams, while the Rams are a good team and, they did what they had to do to get in the playoffs, I just think the Vikings are loaded on offense, and then their defense is good. Like, I think they're going to win handily. I would say that if there was going to be a double-digit game, I think this one is going to be the double-digit game.
Really?
Now, you mentioned the Vikings, and all of a sudden Rob Haskell appears as if you said his name 3 times. Because kind of like that fictional character at times. This game could also be played in Arizona. Fred brings that up, depending on the situation in LA. I don't think that matters because the Rams have such piss poor attendance of their own fans. It's like the game not being in LA really doesn't change things for the Rams. In fact, I think most people in LA would be willing to drive to Arizona to go see the game anyways, more so than seeing the game in LA. It might be an advantage for the Rams. I don't know. I don't. This is an interesting game, Ken. What do you think?
I think, to piggyback off of what Joe said a bit, is that the Vikings are going to be royally pissed off of getting smacked around by the Lions. They're going to come in with a fire lit under them, and Sam Darnold is going to freaking smoke the LA Rams.
Fire references are coming out. What do you think, Rob?
Nah, fuck that. The Vikings can suck a dick. They fucking choked last week. Bring out the Purple Crush. These motherfuckers are going to get their ass handed to them. I hope Stafford and Puka and all them boys just run a train on them fuckers. Fuck the Vikings.
Eric's got the Rams 28-21. John wants to see Justin Jefferson cry again. A-Dub says he says the Rams will beat the Vikings in the same manner they beat them this season. Rob says if we get good Darnold, we win. Is there such a thing? If they get game manager Darnold, they have a chance. Yeah. If it's Kyle Orton Darnold, they have a chance. But once again, like with Buck, you got a quarterback named Matt Stafford out there who just does things, and all of a sudden, you think you got the Rams where you want them. Look, they should have beaten Detroit in the playoffs last year, but they couldn't finish in the red zone. Kind of familiar with teams not finishing in the red zone against Detroit, because that's what their problem was last week. They'd get to the red zone and couldn't finish. The Rams, Dorn 43, the
30-point victory for the Rams.
Yeah. So look, if you want Vegas betting, do not follow John Dorn's advice ever. Okay?
Dorn's been huffing deer piss, like.
Yeah. But this is gonna be a good game, and I don't think. I mean, Stafford will make we've seen Stafford at the same time make the stupidest freaking interception throws, like the one to McKinney this year, which was like, "Hey, McKinney, you want to keep your streak alive? Here, let me just throw the ball at you." With no one else around you. I mean, so Stafford can do that when he's trying to create. So if the Vikings can get their defense home on Stafford, it's going to create issues for LA. But Puka and they've got a team with the Rams. I mean, they're without a running back. That sucks. That sucks for them. But if there's going to be an upset of a high seed going out or a big win team going out, I'm going to go with Rob on this one and say it's the Vikings. Unfortunately, both two NFC North teams might be out this weekend. I've got the Rams in this game by the slimmest of margins, a 1-point game, field goal, something like that. it could go either way, but I'm gonna go with Stafford over the Ginger Jesus. And look at Vikings fans, this makes it easy for you to get rid of them at the end of the year, and then it shuts Rob Haskell's up for a while after getting his ass handed to him last week in Detroit.
Damn, John.
John, that's okay. I really don't care. Look at John. If John says it, that means it's what he's saying is not going to happen because, like, look at his score predictions. So.
Well, my predictions are usually right a lot of the time. So you know what? I'm going to backdoor up on this. Chicago doesn't see a playoff. I'm not going to say appearance. They're not going to see a playoff win for another 15 years.
A playoff win or a playoff
Well,
appearance?
you got to remember, Ken was trying to pump you up with hope.
He's saying they'll never see the playoffs. He's saying they'll never make the playoffs.
The North is going to be a very interesting division for the next 3 to 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a very interesting division, and then some teams will start to fall out the window.
I was going to say not if any of the North team players make a visit to New York. My
Bears going to hire the Ginger Jesus?
Directive on them.
So, interesting games this week, guys. Of course, we'll have to monitor the situation in LA to see if they move that game. Would that be? Has there ever been a playoff game moved before for natural disaster?
No, but they're not opposed to doing it. I mean, think of all the things that's faced in our times, man.
So why would you move it to Arizona? Why wouldn't you move it to San Francisco or Vegas?
I don't think they're moving it.
Vegas is closer, isn't it, than Arizona?
I don't think so. I think Arizona's a little bit closer. He said Dorn.
No, where do all
fine art?
Yeah, that's hilarious. That's hilarious.
Joe, where do all the people from LA go every weekend? Come on, we've all seen that interstate packed with cars going from LA.
Yeah, they go to Vegas.
Yeah,
but I think the drive though is shorter to Arizona because they play in like Glendale or something like that, right? And so Glendale from LA, I think is probably like 4 or 5 hours, and Vegas is like 8 hours.
Yeah, Vegas is 8 hours of traffic. Yeah, I've done that drive a few times, but yeah, some good games this weekend. We're going to see some upsets. Of course, we'll talk some more tomorrow about it. We got tomorrow's show Friday. Don't forget JB is on after us. We'll be back here tomorrow. We got the Packers on Frozen Tundra tomorrow night. Well, they'll be talking about playoff football. Haskell said Dorn picked Germany by -7 in World War II. Rob, that's maybe the funniest comment you've ever made.
Holy shit, bro.
Wow. I want to see. Okay, Cam. Yeah, well, Cam lives in Arizona.
Drink my coffee.
Cam lives in the Valley of the Sun. It's actually a closer drive for them to come to Arizona. So thank you, Cam, because he lives right there. I want to see a show of Dorn and Haskell's just exchanging barbs for an hour. I think that could be entertaining, and they could do that on open mic night on Saturday, couldn't they, Rob?
Yeah.
They could do that. Don't forget Saturday. We've also got 2 Viking shows, 2 open mics. Sunday we're going to have Red Zone Rant and Hallis Hall, and then some more football. And then we'll be back, of course, Monday, and we go through the whole week again.
And we talk about how great of a victory the Packers had over the Eagles and how that momentum was just going to be through the fucking roof.
Yeah,
I think that's a beautiful plan for a
Monday looks like.
I'm right there with you, buddy.
We'll see what Victory Monday looks like there for these guys. But look, it's going to be good, I know we're going to see some stuff come out today. What coach interviews in a shock people, like, I can't believe they're interviewing this guy. I don't think anyone hires anyone. Rex Ryan, no, you're not yet the coach of the New York Jets, even though you think you are. And of course, it's always fun to watch.
Ken, you might really want to tell him because he's already lining up his Foot Locker sponsorship.
I know, right? And it's just like, this time of year, man. This time of year, everyone have a great day. Don't forget, JB is next. You can catch Rob Haskell's tomorrow after Saturday, though. Maybe Dorn should come on his show and they can talk about that game. That's going to be a lot of fun, guys. Thank you, everyone, for being there. Stay warm, stay safe. If you're in Cali, please hope you're doing well and get away from them fires, and hopefully they die out. We'll see you all tomorrow morning. Have a great football day.